Welcome to the Selftax YouTube channel. If you're an expat, business owner, or landlord, this channel is for you. We simplify tax rules, deadlines, and updates so you can stay compliant without the stress. Subscribe and stay informed. You have submitted your MTD quarterly update and then realized you made a mistake. Maybe you forgot to include an expense. Maybe you entered the wrong income figure. Maybe you categorized something incorrectly. In this video I am going to show you exactly how to correct errors in your MTD quarterly update, whether you caught the mistake before or after submission, what the process looks like at each stage, and the one situation where you need to contact HMRC directly. Before anything else, the most important point about errors in quarterly updates. Mistakes in quarterly updates are not as serious as people fear. Quarterly updates are running estimates, not final figures. There is built-in flexibility to correct errors. There is no penalty for correcting quarterly updates before the final declaration. Many corrections happen naturally at year-end. The system is designed with the expectation that figures will be refined as the year progresses. Your final tax position is only confirmed at the final declaration stage, not at each quarterly submission. The simplest scenario is catching an error before you hit submit. Simply correct the entry in your software before clicking submit. No issue at all. Go back into your digital records, find the incorrect entry, correct it, and then review the updated summary before submitting. Most MTD-compatible software allows you to edit transactions freely before submission. This is why reviewing your quarterly summary carefully before submitting is a worthwhile habit rather than an optional step. If you catch an error after submitting but before you have moved on to the next quarter, most MTD-compatible software allows you to resubmit that quarter with the corrected figures. Most MTD software allows you to amend a previously submitted quarterly update. Check your software's specific process. The resubmission replaces the previous figures HMRC holds for that period. The process varies slightly between software providers, so checking your software's amendment workflow is the practical first step. The correction is typically quick, usually completed within a few minutes once you have identified and fixed the underlying error in your digital records. This is the most common scenario and the one that causes the most unnecessary worry. If you spot an error in a previous quarter after you have already moved into the next reporting period, the correction process is straightforward. If you spot an error in Q1 after submitting, you correct it in the Q2 update. The running totals for the tax year are restated. There is no separate amendment process. When you submit Q2, the updated cumulative totals automatically correct whatever was wrong in Q1. By Q4, your final quarterly update reflects the full corrected picture for the entire tax year. Fix the error in your digital records first, then your next quarterly submission will reflect the corrected cumulative figures automatically. If you identify an error after your fourth quarterly update but before you have submitted your final declaration, you still have time to correct it. A fourth quarter mistake cannot be carried forward into another quarterly update, but it can be corrected before filing the final declaration. Most MTD-compatible software includes an annual adjustment section within the final declaration workflow. This is where you correct figures that cannot be carried forward through a further quarterly update. Review your annual adjustments tab before submitting the final declaration to ensure all figures are accurate before you formally confirm your tax position. If you discover an error after your final declaration has been submitted, the correction route changes. You can amend your final declaration within 12 months of the filing deadline, which is the 31st of January. After that, you must contact HMRC directly. So for the 2026 to 2027 final declaration due by the 31st of January 2028, you have until the 31st of January 2029 to amend it through your software. All amendments after the final declaration are made through your MTD-compatible software, not through HMRC's online service. If you need to make a correction more than 12 months after the deadline, you will need to contact HMRC directly. HMRC can make amendments going back up to 4 years in cases of genuine error, or longer if fraud or negligence is involved. One important principle runs through every correction scenario. Fixing the submitted figures without correcting the underlying digital record can leave your records inconsistent. Always go back into your digital records and correct the original entry before resubmitting or making an amendment. Your digital records are the source of truth that feeds your quarterly updates. If you correct the submission but leave the error in your records and your HMRC submissions will not match, which creates a problem if HMRC ever requests to see your underlying records during a compliance check. In some cases, your software may not allow a particular amendment, or you may encounter an error during the resubmission process. If you used commercial software, contact the software provider for help correcting the return, and contact HMRC if the software cannot make the correction. Most software providers offer support via chat or email during UK business hours. Always check your submission history inside your software after every quarterly update. Look for a reference number or an acknowledgement timestamp. If neither appears, your submission has not been received. Resubmit immediately. Keeping a record of what was changed and why is also sensible practice in case you need to explain the correction later. The most important reassurance throughout all of this is straightforward. HMRC built the resubmission mechanism into the system precisely because they know quarterly submissions will contain errors. The framework assumes imperfection. It just requires you to fix mistakes before they become final. Correcting a quarterly update does not generate a penalty point. Penalty points only arise from missing a submission deadline entirely, not from correcting figures within a submission. The system is built for accuracy at the final declaration stage, and everything before that point is designed to be refined and corrected as needed. So how do you correct errors in your MTD quarterly update? If you catch the error before submitting, correct it in your software and submit the accurate figures. If you catch it after submitting but before the next quarter, resubmit the corrected quarter through your software. If you catch it after moving into the next quarter, fix the error in your digital records and your next quarterly submission will carry the corrected cumulative figures automatically. If you catch it after Q4 but before the final declaration, use the annual adjustment section in your software. And if you catch it after the final declaration, you have 12 months from the 31st of January deadline to amend through your software, after which you contact HMRC directly. Always fix the underlying digital record first, before making any amendment to the submission. And remember, there is no penalty for correcting errors. The system is designed for exactly this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Selftax for clear practical UK tax guidance. Stay informed, stay compliant, and stay one step ahead of HMRC.